Round two is in the books. The league is starting to mold itself and shape itself kind of the way we thought it might work out, with a couple of things going on around us. So there's a lot to break down today. We're going to go international with this breakdown today as well. Today we welcome back our favorite import point guard. Now, he doesn't do anything but win at the moment. NBL 24 champion Walter Brown joins us in studio. And NCAA Women's Hoops takes over the world.
He makes them pay. Jackson Cartwright going to Hiram Harris now. Hands in the air and puts it in. To create space, he's on a heater. Heat check right here. Jackson Cartwright strikes that three. Look away to PJC streaking down the floor.
5 seconds to go, shoots the three.
Good nice! Thank you, Jackson Cartwright!
You want to see the anti-hero? Here I am.
And you love to see it. Welcome back to another episode of Hoop Heads. I'm Brooke Rusco, joined on the couch today by Taylor Johnson and Tom Abercrombie. And we're going to start with that. That's what we're going to start with today. Obviously, the potato and gravy of the Sal's NBL is back, and we're going to break that down. But go with the Breakers. And your point guard over the last year, PJC, huge signing for the Breakers. What does that mean for the Breakers in the franchise in this coming season?
Yeah, huge way to start free agency for the Breakers, and I believe only the 5th import to come back to the team. So a massive coup for the club and a great player, a great point guard for Modi to start building around. And it's hard in this league, it's hard in any league to get a proven commodity sometimes, and you know exactly what you're going to get with Parker this time around. And I'm excited for him to come back. He loved Auckland, and I think he was very excited to come back and join the Breakers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Auckland loved him as well. I think New Zealand loved him. He is so good for the franchise because he brings that energy on social media. He's got that big presence. Everyone likes seeing the highlights from him. He's vocal, and that's what, I think we historically miss it a lot of the time, is those vocal athletes in New Zealand. So having him come back is great. I mean, he's a fan favourite. It's that the little guy going get up against the big guys and smashing it.
He is going to be so dominant. He is the point guard of the team, and you know this now, but there's a couple of names that you have to bring up. It's Will McDowell-White and Isaiah Liafa. How does that fit in the mould? Obviously, two extremely talented players. There's talks about Zay potentially going, and this hearsay, but to the Sydney Kings. What's the kind of movements around what you expect to see with those two boys?
Yeah, tough one. Obviously, two players the Breakers would love to have back. Isaiah did great things for the club in his 2 years there. Just a fantastic player on both sides of the ball, gets after it, defends, shoots the three ball at an extremely high clip, makes tough shots. I think the Breakers would love to have him back, but by all accounts, he's going to explore free agency a little bit, which, good on him. He's earned himself that right to do so. And Will McDowell-White's the other one. Obviously, I think the premier point guard in the competition from a purist point of view. He controls the game like no other.
Well, it was a huge signing for the Breakers this year as well. Speaking of signings, this man, Tyrell Harrison, you might want to get the paycheck out and see if the Manu 2 Jets can keep him for a little bit longer. It looks like he might be done for the season, but he has been huge. They know he was only going to be there from the start, but what he provided in these first 4 games for this Jet squad, you probably couldn't have asked for much more.
No, incredible start. I was calling his first game. I think he had something like 24 rebounds, and he just continued to stuff the stat sheet in his next following 2 games. And I'm gutted, man. I've enjoyed watching Ty in these first few games. He was obviously so important for what the Jets did.
Oh, bigs are worth their weight in gold in this league in particular. He is going to be missed hugely, and it's going to be tough to fill in his footsteps. I mean, we look at some of the bigs around the league. I mean, Froling has been outstanding.
Yes.
I love watching him play, and I think Harrison, was a good matchup for him as well. So it's going to be interesting.
And he changed so much while he was out there too. He might not have the blocks, but he was changing stuff. And when he was getting the ball, he was pushing the pace as well. So he's going to be a huge loss. And I imagine they're going to do everything they can to keep him. But one person who was huge for them, and he stepped up without Jasper Rentoy, was Campbell Scott. He had 20. I know they didn't get the win in the second game, but he had 28 and 7 against Ty Webster, who is, him and Shea are basically the 2 point guards for the Tall Blacks. So if he can continue this, it's a big ask. There's a couple games right now, it's very early. But if he can continue to push and play like this, it's going to go a long way to playing in potentially that jersey behind you that you played in so very often with the Tall Blacks.
Yeah, well, if he continues the way he has, the level of improvement from that first Rapid League game in round 1 to how he came out and played against Otago was massive. And if he just continues to get better and better, it's a massive luxury for the Jets, because obviously losing Tyrell potentially now, but having Campbell Scott, who's an established point guard now, or starting to be, means maybe you don't need to replace Rentnor and you can use that import position somewhere else to maybe bring in someone to replace those big shoes that Ty's going to leave.
And he played with such confidence as well. It was a breakout game for him, if we're being honest. When you're looking around the league at the different guards, he was phenomenal. So I'm looking forward to seeing, how he progresses if they do continue to give him the keys and just let him drive, because he's doing awesome.
He did what he needed to do at the start. And I'll tell you who else did what they needed to do to get some eyes on some screens. We had a couple big dunks from the Jets over the weekend. I want to start with this one. Just to the right, he's a left-hander, but on the rim. Mustafa Heron knows exactly what he's doing. He had a date with the rim a couple times, but when you get these locks flowing too, Liam Judd just took off.
The Jets have got a couple of athletes, don't they? The Jets fans are going to enjoy watching those two flying down the court week in, week out. I love what both of them bring to that team.
Well, I tell you, and you're absolutely right, I cannot wait to see some more highlights for them, but different level of highlights you're going to get with the Tuatara. They got a couple wins. They got back on the board, and impressive wins as well. You just go and play the Airs, and then you go down and play the Phi. But they get a couple wins, and they kind of find that groove, and kind of what we expected from the Tuatara at this early point of the season.
Oh, I think no one expected that first up loss, and that really hurt them, and that really, I think, put their A into G. If we're being honest, they would have reviewed that performance and said, look, we're better than that, because there's some proud men in that team, and they did exactly what we expected them to do. They came out firing. Even in that game against the Airs, I mean, the Airs went on a 17-0 streak, and they managed to come back from that, and that takes a whole lot of grit as well. But their men are stepping up. Corey Webster was good. Rob Lowe, all the guys you expect to be good, they ended up standing up.
Yeah, speaking to a couple of those older guys before that Airs game, they were just saying they needed another week just to get some miles on those legs. A couple of guys who hadn't played for a little while, and you saw they were so much better in Game 2 and Game 3. I love what they're doing involving Cam as well. I think he goes 0 for 6 against the Fire or something from the 3, but he's still plus 25 on the game, because he's such gravity when he's out there as a shooter and does so many good things for them.
Well, to that point, the gravity that he attracts, it gives space for the likes of Corey Webster to go to work. And I was interested to see how the Corey Webster point guard position was going to work. Obviously, the Corey that we've seen for years and years is kind of plays that off guard, but as a bucket, doesn't matter how you get it. But he found space and he got going over the weekend. Yeah,
he's been locked in and he's been engaged, which is what we want to see from Corey. It's a tough position holding down that point guard spot night in, night out, but he's been fantastic. He's been aggressive, and what I like to see is play both ends of the floor as well.
Yeah, and the good thing that I like about the Tuatara team is they're probably the most mature team. I want to put that out there. Like, I do think the average age is probably higher in that Tuatara team, but that's to their benefit because they know how to win games. They know how to game manage, and game management is really big. I mean, you've got, when Webster's got those guys outside him, I think it's going to be quite nice for them throughout the season. Well,
game management is a perfect segue into the next team that we want to talk about. It's the Sharks. And the Sharks have struggled at the start of the year. 0-3 right now. Josh Turner has left after the first 2 games. I called the game against the Hawks, and I thought it was going to be a lot closer than it was, but the Hawks blew that game out. It was a 27-point win in the end, but it's a tough time for the Sharks at the moment. And the question, and it's all hearsay at the moment, but I think it's important questions that we ask is, Guy Molloy struggled down there, hasn't got the record that probably he expects, that they expect. What happens next with the Sharks?
Yeah, well, it's make or break time for them very early on in the season, and we know what adversity can do to a team, and they're experiencing it full on straight away. So, yeah, tough job for Guy Molloy right now to rally those troops and try and get them to buy in. And that's what I really want to see from this team. I want to see a team that's bought in to a style and a culture and what they're doing. And at the moment, I just don't see it from them.
It's true about the buy-in, because you actually look at that region, the proud history for the Southland Sharks as well, and they love basketball down there. They don't often get a lot of events down there, so they get in behind all the teams that are there. And so I think it's the crowd's not the issue or anything like that, but I think they just need a bit more, pride in who they're playing for. But that is hard in any league, particularly this one when you get a lot of movement and imports coming in. So I think they just need to go back to their why and why they want to play the game.
Potentially, you need something to change, right? And obviously Josh Turner's left. They're looking for a new point guard. And rumour has it, and I want to come to you for this one, Tommy, is Kyle Adnam is at the forefront. You can get him here quickly. He's seen the league before. How important would it be for them to see him play next Monday?
Yeah, I think Kyle would be fantastic. He's a proven point guard in this league. He's a bucket getter. He's going to put some points on the floor, but most importantly, he's a good person to have around. He's a good culture builder for a team. I think Kyle would be a fantastic addition, but, it's one piece of the puzzle for those guys. It's not going to solve all their problems, but it's certainly going to help.
Well, I'll tell you who's living the dream at the moment, and he has helped every team he's been on, the last 2 teams. He won with the Rams on that side, but the Jack Jumpers a couple of weeks ago. Let's go and take a look at the championship run.
They've got the depth, they're well rested, they've been top of the table all season long. Is this United's to lose?
The little asterisk next to it is actually the team down the other end. They've beaten them 2 out of the 3 times.
They're the only team in the NBL that has won a finals game in each of the last 3 years. They believe they can win this.
The championship series between Melbourne and Tasmania is away. Billy downhill, finds Wawala Chul. Bowen, who gave up the 3. Optimum look for Dellavedova. Bottom of the net. Himself to give Melbourne the early buffer. It was big in game 3. Golding from the corner. It's good luck stopping that. And a steal by Wawala Chul. Look out! John Kane Arena explodes!
They're the mistakes you can't afford to make.
Shea Ili fouled. As he falls to the floor, Melbourne throw the first punch. And it's a big one. A statement victory in game 1 of the championship series.
You know, we weren't on point. It's one game and we regroup, have a few days off, which will be nice, and then we're back at it.
McVeigh, now he's banking them home. McVeigh for Magnay. Got a huge piece of that one. And he runs the floor with a jam. Tasmania, live the mantra and defend the island. We head back to Melbourne on Sunday, 1 apiece.
Whoa, they've thrown it away.
Big problem. Doyle kept it in. Here's the Jack Jumpers chance. McVeigh, 2 on the clock. Oh! Jack McVeigh! Simply incredible! Jack McVeigh with the shot of his life. Tasmania win game 3 and silence Melbourne. Crawford steps into the 3. Golding for 3. Golding from really deep. From really deep. Back-to-back 3s for Melbourne United. Doyle drives. It may very well be the last roll of the dice for Melbourne. Down to 10. Head down to the basket. Matthew Dellavedova. Simply brilliant. Melbourne come to enemy territory and win in a thriller. And we are going all the way to the end. It comes down to this. The 5th and final game. Back out to Crawford. Off the loose ball. 3 more. Amazing individual performance from Jordan Crawford. Clark cuts his way through. Time ticking away for United. Last roll of the dice. Goal! Dellavedova knocks it away for the win. Tasmania have done it. The island has its title. And the Jack Jumpers, in their 3rd season, are NBL champions in one of the all-time great Grand Final series.
It is without a doubt one of the all-time great series that we have seen in a long, long time. I put it right up there with the Perth and the Breakers and what you guys put together. But that series was absolutely incredible. And someone to come and talk about it a little bit more and about the season that he is about to have is Walter Brown, who was a part of the Jack Jumpers. I want to welcome you into the show, welcome you into the studio. Walter, congratulations, first of all. That amazing what you've done over the last 12 months, but just what's that experience like with the Jack Jumpers and what's it been like for you over the last 2 weeks?
It's incredible. Just the team and the culture to be around is great. And obviously to win the championships, it's an amazing feeling. Just lucky to be involved with that group, really. But the few weeks or the week after, it's always a fun one. You don't win championships all that often, so you got to celebrate accordingly. So it's always been fun.
Walter, talk to me a little bit. Obviously, being part of that myself the year before, I know the emotions of going through a 5-game series can be pretty taxing. Talk to me a little bit about that and how you guys handled so many close games and being able to cope with those tight losses or those close wins and go through a grueling 5-game series on an emotional level.
I think it just comes back to the group and the coaching staff, just always keeping level-headed, never trying to get too up or too down. It's always just focusing on the next job, whether it's just a recovery day or getting better on our scout or changing the game plan a little bit. I think as a group we did a great job, so that was good.
Walter, for you personally, being involved in a winning environment and as Tom said, going to that 5-game series, how have you developed yourself as a player, watching, you know, some of those stars you're rubbing shoulders with?
No, I've learned like a lot over the season, obviously over the championship series. Just seeing those, like you say, those stars, the way they go about their business day in, day out, how they prepare and all the mental side of it that they take care of. It's I've learned a lot off those guys. So.
Hey, you can tell us, how was the party? It was good?
No, it was good fun. Yeah, it was good fun.
Now you come back, and obviously it was a huge year for you last year in the New Zealand NBL. Obviously went on to higher honours and played with the Tall Blacks as well, but you're an integral part of you guys winning last year. You've gone away for another 8 months and gone with the Jack Jumpers, so you're playing day in and day out. How are you feeling coming back into the Rams this year? Obviously your role will grow even bigger. You'll be expected to do even more, but how are you feeling walking back into the Rams this year?
No, I'm super excited. Obviously the Jack Jumpers is super cool and I love being there, but as a basketball player, you want to play. So to come back and, you know, have this opportunity to play, I'm super excited to just get back on the court a bit more and play with the group. It's going to be a super fun year. So.
And what do the Rams need to do to bounce back? Obviously, you guys had a loss against the Franklin Bulls in the last round, and missing Lockie Ulbrich at the moment. There's a bit of a gap there in the big man department. What do you guys got to do to fill that gap until he gets back and bounce back from last week?
I think we just got to stay the task, stay the course, just keep working every day. It'll be good. You know, we have a few things to work on this week at training, but I think we'll be able to bounce back and just play the way we play and live with the results. So.
Walter, on the Sal's NBL season, obviously all three of us, we commentate on the games. Do you have a nickname? Because you remind me of a very, very famous Australian cult figure, the Honey Badger, aka Nick Cummins, who used to play for the Wallabies. And Tom said to me, maybe you're the Basketball Badger, but do you have a nickname that we can start calling you? Because honestly, it's just like for like here.
I don't really mind. I don't really know. People just call me Wild, but I get called all sorts of names. I hear people telling me, but I don't really mind.
On a less strenuous note, what do you do with the hair? Is that natural or is that a perm or what's going on there? Because it's always good.
No, it's just natural. It's just a bit of shampoo and conditioner every now and again. That's the trick, eh?
People will pay good money for that, mate. Very good money. Hey, it's great to have you back in the league. Congratulations on everything that you've achieved over the last 12 months, and we are super excited to see what you and the Rams do this year.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Basketball Badger.
The Basketball Badger.
That is his new name, is the Basketball Badger.
It wasn't a no, was it?
It wasn't a no. You're absolutely right. Maybe we can work on that. We'll come up with a couple. But the Basketball Badger, I'll go with that. All right, we always go to our main man, Justin Nelson. If there's anything that we need to know about the league, he knows more than most. Here he is.
Oh, never a dull moment in the Sal's NBL. Let's head south. The Sharks. Josh Turner sent home after 2 games. They are now looking for a replacement point guard and import, and all roads right now lead to Kyle Adnam. Watch this space for the Sharks. They're in action next Monday night against the Saints. And we can reveal there is some news at the moment that the Sal's NBL is looking at an all-star game in 2025. How good would that be?
Well, all-star game, you might get Tommy out of retirement. Hold on, don't be saying that. I think it's a great expansion for the league. I think the league doesn't, I don't want to say need is the word, but I think it's a great idea and a great expansion to bring an all-star game into this.
Oh, 100%. I mean, sport in New Zealand is asking for more, right? Because you've got the traditionals like the rugbies and the netball. They don't do all-star games. Remember when we had COVID? Yeah, when we had COVID and they did the North v South, that was one of the most watched games because it's that rivalry, right? Like there's no origin or anything as well in basketball. And I think it's the start of something special. We could see a really awesome weekend, and why not make it a big spectacle? You know, I'm sure you'd come out of retirement for that as well.
There's 2 things I think of. One, North versus South. I think that would be an awesome way to do it. Yeah. And the second thing is Carlin Davison in a dunk comp. How good would that be? The man can absolutely fly.
Troy Baxter Jr.
Troy Baxter Jr. You could go on, Liam Judd. There's plenty of names who could fill up that space and put on an absolute show.
Yeah, but how do you pick the teams? You know, is it North-South? You know, what are the options?
Well, I heard there's a few options that we go with. So North-South is on the table. And I'll throw them out to you, see what you think. North versus South. The other one was Kiwis versus imports. The final one was like a fan vote. So we go to the fans voted through. And almost like the NBA had been doing it over the last few years. And then you pick your best 24. There's a captain at the top. And they get to choose the squad that they want to have. So I don't know which one I prefer. I think I would go with the captains and just go old school, pick your squads. But if you had a chance, or which one?
Yeah, well, it's worked pretty well in the NBA, hasn't it? But I like that North versus South flavour and really getting that inter-island rivalry going. I think that would work really well. My experience being part of the NBL All-Star game a long time ago, we did imports versus locals, and it didn't quite have that same feeling. Yeah, and you need to generate that competitiveness in an All-Star game, and I'm excited to see how we innovate in this area. Obviously, different leagues around the world have experimented with the ELAM ending and different ways that you can do the game. A great chance to try some different things.
Well, I'm so here for it. All-Star game, great idea, great initiative. One other thing that I'm so here for, Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark has been absolutely incredible over the last year. She has moved mountains. She is the pencil at the moment, writing an amazing story. Came up short, but she's so good. It's not the fact that incredible what South Carolina did. They went on the season undefeated. They lost one game in the last 2 years. But we're still talking about Caitlin Clark and what she did. She has been incredible.
Oh, she has done so much for the game of basketball in general, not just women's basketball. I think more and more people are talking about basketball. Like I'm on social media, all I see, every second, third reel is Caitlin Clark, and she deserves her flowers. I think that's the biggest thing, is it's not just we're hyping up someone who doesn't deserve it. I mean, she deserves everything she is getting at the moment, and just her impact that we are seeing everywhere. With the, her declaring for the WNBA and being the #1 pick, and then the Aces are now moving their game that had a 10,000 capacity stadium to a 20,000 one in anticipation for when she comes to play them. I mean, that is huge. What player is doing that in the NBA? No one.
Yeah, she gets a lot of comparisons to Steph Curry.
And I love it. I am here for it.
I am absolutely here for it. And Steph Curry changed the game. And that's exactly what Caitlin Clark's doing. She is changing the way that women's basketball is viewed and played. And it's so exciting to watch and be a part of that. The LSU Iowa game in the Final Four, I watched that one. That was so exciting right down to the last minute. And what she's able to do night in, night out with all that attention, all that pressure, it's so impressive.
Yeah, she's absolutely incredible. Now, let's just take a look at some of the records that she has broken. She actually has broken every record. I don't know if there's any records that she hasn't, but just what they have done, and I don't want to just give it all to Caitlin, she's obviously a huge part of it, but what they have achieved over the last tournament and the last year has been absolutely incredible. And one of the other ones was that more people watched the finals, the NCAA women's final, than the NBA men's final when Denver won it. So you just have to understand the gratitude and the magnitude that they're moving at.
And Dawn Staley, the coach of USC, she even said it herself. For her to get up there and thank Caitlin Clark after they just won speaks volumes, because she said, she did so much for NCAA, but what is she going to do for WNBA? Because it's no secret that they obviously don't have the viewership that they could have. So with her moving into that, she's also going to lift that league up. So I'm here for everything Caitlin Clark.
Get your money. You deserve all of it. Now, speaking of money, I wouldn't be betting on what we're doing with the tipping here. I want us to take a quick look at how it's going. And
actually,
I went all right.
Look at me up the top.
Look at us up the top there, Tommy. Taylor, it's not so good down the bottom. Justin sitting at 7, but I think we went all right here over the weekend, guys.
I just want to know when that photo was taken of you.
Same. I had a bad day. Clearly, I had a bad day.
That looks like your old Tall Blacks jumper from a very long time ago.
It does. You thought I was bad, though. Go take a look at Casey in the far left corner.
But I like this. It's even. And each week, there's always a score that I'm like, okay, I really got that one wrong. That's what you want from any competition, is unpredictability. And no one's a clear leader at the moment. It's only one game, So
without
I'm excited.
Well, we are trying to move and grow as the season goes on, but not just on the court, off the court as well. Shout out to Sterling Sports as we take a look at some of the fits that we have been given. We want to hook people up, so we have to show some love and respect to the Saints and what they did. Shout out to our guys, ND Prod and Dub Gallery, for these. But to all the boys, the squads, if you are listening, take some photos of the boys as they rock up to the games, and we are going to be hooking some of the boys up with some Sterling Sports vouchers. Ruben, you're not getting it for that. Ruben, you definitely won't be winning this week. Josh, you might actually get it. I like what you've done here, but just to put it on notice, boys, that
we need to get some cameras at the Nelson Giants game, I believe. If anyone saw what Alex McNaught used to wear to our games, I don't know if he has any costumes left in his cupboard, but the man comes up with some unique outfits, and I'm sure he won't disappoint.
Well, we need to see more of those boys. All right, that is all she wrote for this week. No game on tonight. Take the night off. It is back tomorrow, but Hoop Heads, that is done, and Dustin will be back next Wednesday.